What's going on, everybody? It's a Cajun cooking week, Wednesday, with our friend Cory. What's going on, everybody? What a day, man. I had to get up early because we're still down to one car. I had to get my allergy shots this morning, and my wife is back to the office, so I had to be back in time for her to take the car to work. And they've implemented a new policy that when you get your allergy shots, you have to sit in the waiting room for 25 minutes just to make sure you're not going to pass out.
Yeah, make sure nothing crazy happens.
Now, I've been getting these shots for a year, and I have had zero ill effects in a year, but still, you got to wait 25 minutes to find out that you're not going to die on the way home.
I would just, at this point, if I were you, I'd be like, look, I'm going to wait outside.
That's what the policy used to be, but everybody just got in their car and went home.
Yeah.
And I have my EpiPen. Like, if something goes wrong, I'm ready to stick it in my thigh. I got it.
Yeah, good to go. Good to go. One hand on the wheel, one hand on the EpiPen.
When did we get in this country to a point where, like, instructions aren't enough? We have to mandate that you sit here, and we have to babysit you.
2 words: trial lawyers. Trial lawyers. Same reason why was it McDonald's had to start putting that the coffee was hot on the on the cup, because apparently people didn't know. I burnt my legs with this coffee. Well, yeah, it's coffee.
Do you remember when the ruling first came down, and the cup that McDonald's handed out said "caution hot" like 75 times around the cup?
It was written all over
it. Like, they're like, you wanted this, here you go.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Careful what you ask for.
Charlie says I should tell him to put some real goodies in those shots.
That good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Hey, I'm actually like, I actually spent time with 3 dogs a couple weekends ago and did not like have trouble breathing. So we're making some headway here.
That's headway, right?
Breathing is still some goodies for me.
Yeah,
like, that's the performance enhancement I'm looking for.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Scott, breathing as a thing is underrated in general.
And it shouldn't be.
And it should not be taken for granted as much as it is.
But breathing is probably an essential.
Yeah, I would say it's on my top 2 things to do today, like pretty much all day.
I'd hate to see what number 1 is if breathing fell to 2. One other thing before we dive, and we started a little bit early today. My apologies. I have a meeting right at 1:00 that I can't be late for, and it's actually an important one. So we started a little bit early today because Cory and I can never not shut up.
No.
But yesterday, Ken Walters was in the chat, and he was talking about how Mrs. Leonard and I are now BFFs. That was not Ken Walters. That was Kat Shear.
That's Kat. So I showed Jennifer the show Saturday, and we laughed. Jesus Christ, did we laugh? And she said, I feel like I need to be friends with this woman. And I was like, you absolutely should. So she went searching for her on Instagram.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And if you want to see episode 2 tonight at 5:00 Eastern time, we will have Kat live talking about 6 first dates.
6 first dates. Yeah.
I think she promised like text messages that have happened back and forth before, during, after those 6 first dates.
I cannot imagine, because people are insane.
Well, if you didn't think they were insane, go watch episode 1 that's sitting out there now, and you'll learn that the dating world is flat out insane.
She does not have any single brothers, Kat. Sorry.
So yeah, yesterday Ken was talking about he was having a shrimp omelet with horseradish.
Oh.
And I made the statement that horseradish is the single most underappreciated condiment in the bag of condiments. But I was thinking about it last night because I think about this show a lot. Is like truly, if I have a great sandwich, I don't like any traditional condiments on it. Like no mustard, no mayo, no ketchup. Now, like some tomato, some horseradish, things like that.
Okay.
Great. But if the sandwich is constructed so well, I don't need to hide any of the flavors.
That's fair.
And I feel the same way about a burger. Like if the
Oh.
burger is really, really good, I want to taste the burger, not any condiments I put on it.
It would have to be one hell of a burger.
Now I would still put like cheese, tomato, those types of things on there, onion, but I do not want the traditional condiment on it.
It would have to be one hell of a burger, and the bread would have to be also phenomenal to go with it for me not to add. Because
what kind of burgers are you eating that do not live up to that story?
If I'm making some for meal prep that aren't necessarily, dripping with fat and whatnot, because
Gotcha.
I'm not to.
The turkey burgers need.
Yeah.
Turkey burgers need condiments. I'll give you that. Or the really lean beef. Yeah. You got to give some moisture to the story.
And it's not even so much for the burger, it's for the bun. Because I cannot do dry bread. Like, I need something on it. But maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Jody Lynn, whoa, way early. Yeah, we went 15 minutes early today. Again, I have a big meeting at 1:00 that I cannot be late for. And Cory and I talk a lot. So I decided to go a little bit early. So I didn't want to cheat my time with my friend from the South. So I just went early so we could chat a little bit. I could change it to noon permanently. I don't know. The 12:15 kind of works because my lunch hour hits at 12. It gives me time to kind of get down here, get everything set up and everything. It's just today, and just to be transparent, my evaluation is at 1:00.
Nope.
My annual evaluation.
Yeah, that seems important.
Not the thing you want to show up late for.
Not generally speaking.
So I just moved it a little bit today, so I'm not late for my yearly evaluation.
Fair point.
So that's that. And because of what happened last week, it was actually scheduled last Thursday, which got bumped because of my mom's stroke. So I've already pushed it. Now I just need to go and be there on time and get it done. So, yeah. One quick verification. I found out in the comments from the show yesterday that the Mayhem athletes who did qualify for the games were drug tested.
Cool. Good.
Brandon Lueck put into the comments that he was actually one of the members that escorted the athletes to the drug testing area, and that top 5 all got drug tested. So 2 qualified and 3 backups on each side.
Even better. So
we did get confirmation that did happen at the Mayhem Classic this weekend. There was drug testing involved.
As there should have been. Good.
So
good deal.
Just wanted to clear that up and thank Judy Reed confirmed that. Brandon Lueck confirmed that. So thank you to those guys for jumping in the comments to do that.
Yeah, man. I saw Judy's Instagram and I was jealous as shit that she was up there getting to check him out. That's pretty awesome.
She said she was actually trying to get a picture with Colton and was told that you're not allowed to touch him because he hasn't been drug tested yet.
Hey, that's good, man. They take it serious. Good. So much the better.
So thank you to those guys for clearing that up because we did not know yesterday. And now we do. I like to know.
Yeah. So the only thing Colton's going to test positive for is patriotism and probably pork, if I had to guess.
Pig manure.
Yeah.
Before we went on the air, we were talking about this, so I'm going to pull this up so we can talk about it. Jason Grubb made a post on Instagram about the video review process for the age group online semi. And I'll go down through these. The first one is, these are the problems he is seeing with the video review process that's out there. There's no comment or drop-down menu to identify violations for HQ, which means they have to watch the entire video to figure out what's wrong.
That's kind of a gray area as far as I'm concerned. Like, I get what they're saying, but like, what are you going to do? You'd have to have 1,700 different options because they didn't follow procedure. They didn't, they missed a rep. And if they missed the rep, what are you going to have? They're going to miss the rep at the beginning, they miss the rep in the middle, they miss the rep at the end, miscounted somewhere. Like, that could get very out of hand very, very quickly.
So drop down, I think, is out of the question. That's not even possible. There's just too many scenarios. Right. But a text box, there used to be in the old days when this was open before, where there was a text box and you could say at the 15:23 mark, this happened.
Yeah.
And if you were judging them, you had to put that in the comment section.
That would be fair. I could see that.
One, I think that is a needed change, because now it's not thumbs up or thumbs down. You actually have to say, this is what went wrong. And then it's not easy to do some of these other things that are going to be listed. Right. And that also proves that you actually watched the video and judged it and not just gave an answer.
That's a whole thing in and of itself. We're going to get to that one.
Andrew Sten says you should have to comment what you see, just something like no reps on X movement or didn't show clock, etc. Right. He says good or bad is way too vague. The next thing is we can't see who's marking the video, so it's tough to spot any patterns. So if one person is flooding it with bads, and it's just the people ahead of them or their friend, you can't detect patterns.
So,
but we don't know what they can see on the back end.
This is also true. I'm going through, because I have gone through and looked at stuff, and the number 4 keeps coming to mind, because on a lot of videos, there's 4 downvotes, like 4, this needs attention, whatever you want to call it. And it's 4. And you go look at the next video and there's 4. And you go look at the next video and there's 4. And I see a pattern there. I mean, that sounds like there's somebody or some, which he's going to get into that cadre, if you will, of people who are going through and just downvote that for whatever conceivable reason. So I don't know if you necessarily need to. And again, like you said, I don't know if what they can see on the back half or on their side of it, but that's definitely, I would say that's definitely some sort of issue. And that goes back or goes along with the whole, I don't have to watch the video to judge it thing.
Yep. And that we can combine 3 and 4. Some athletes used friends or judges to pre-populate good reviews right at the start, which may discourage others from watching and critiquing. And then there are reports of organized network downvoting other competitors.
Yeah. So like I was telling, like we were talking about before we came on, Monday morning, people had, and I don't remember exactly who it was, but somebody in my age group had like 11 good video votes come Monday morning. Like, just call it Monday at lunchtime, whatever it was, 11 or 12. And the videos hadn't been live for 12 hours. That seems like a bit excessive to me. Like, that's a red flag as far as I'm concerned. Like, you mean to tell me that's been up for a week? Not even a week, excuse me. Not even a full 24 hours yet. Just because of how long it took for everything to actually be able to be viewable. And now all of a sudden you've got 11, hey, these are good votes already. Something about that is not right.
Number 5, scores at the top and bottom of qualifying spots are getting reviewed way more than those in the middle of the leaderboard, so videos aren't being judged consistently. Yeah, the top of the leaderboard is way more judged than any other part of the leaderboard. If you go down to the cut line around there, there's a pickup again, not quite as big as the top of the leaderboard. And then in the middle, there's hardly any.
Yeah. And I like we were talking about again, I almost feel like that's to be expected because, like I told you, if I was in 32nd place and I had way less scruples and morals than I do, it'd be real easy for me to just go to the 4 or 5 people above me and just blanket say they're all bad, they're all bad or they all need review or whatever, just to try to get somebody to look at it in case I might be able to get bumped up. Like it wouldn't be a hard thing to do with the way it's set up like it is.
The 6 and 7 we've already kind of talked about. You don't even have to watch a video to submit a judgment on it, and downvote should be visible at HQ on the back end to track patterns. So we've talked about those, but I do think it sheds some light on we thought that this was a really good step, and it is a good step to have video review publicly, but I don't know how much it helps HQ when there's no information transferred to them as to what's wrong with this video.
Yeah, 100%. I will say this too, and somebody brought this up. A couple of different people brought this up as well. One of the first comments underneath there was saying that, so you mean to tell me that you made me get 2 judges. Both of them have to have an L1. Both of them have to have the judges course. Both of them have to have the advanced judges course. They both have to be present while I'm doing the workouts this entire weekend. And now somebody who only has one camera view, one camera angle can go back and review this and tell me that the stuff that I was already been judged for is no longer good. Like, I understand video review is a thing. I get that, but so I'm torn as far as that's concerned, because I do like the fact that everybody can see what everybody's doing. But us judging ourselves at that point seems a little bit suspect.
Kale Lehman says, I mean, Charlie Odie says, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Oh, that's good stuff.
I will say this, like, I have been just spot checking some videos to see, like, if, especially ones that have like huge numbers of like down votes. Dude, I was a judge for a long time. Right. I'm having a hard time finding what they're seeing. It really feels to me like on the good side that knowing you have to post these videos, people are not trying to get away with a lot of shit. Right. Yeah. But on the bad side, I think people are abusing the fact that they get to judge, and they're just
power trip, mad, power hungry, whatever you want to call it. Bring up Tristan's.
Yeah. If this is how the age groups are going, indie semis is going to be lit,
bro. He ain't wrong.
But again, like, I've spot checked some, and I have not dove in like a judge would dive in and done like 40 of these things, right? Yeah. I've just done a little bit here and there to see if I can find bad movement. It's really hard, man. It's really, really hard. And I think it is. I think that the video submissions are forcing the athletes to have good movement.
You kind of have to.
Yeah.
You kind of have to. I mean, you either have to, or you have to be absolutely delusional to say that I'm just going to post this video and post this BS score and just put it out there for everybody to see. Like, that seems insane to me. There's no way on God's green earth. I'm bad enough in person where I don't want somebody to see me. I told you last weekend, my 2 major goals were to leave everything on the floor and not end up on an Andrew Hiller video. That's the 2 things I care about. I want to do as well as I possibly can, and I do not want to end up on an Andrew Hiller video, because I've watched those videos, and bro, like, that's got to be ridiculously embarrassing to say that somebody's sitting there going, "Look at it, man! Look at this dude. What is he doing?" All of that kind of stuff.
What Andrew said is exactly what's gone through my mind. You have to wonder if these people know how to judge at all and know how to review a video, and really understand the standards.
So I'm gonna say this too, Andrew, to that point, is that I didn't take the advanced judges course, but I took the regular judges course, and you can just, like, if you don't get the answers right, you can just keep going until you do, and then move on about with your day, like not caring whatsoever about how people actually move, or not wanting to know. Like, if my wife, who does CrossFit and has competed before, but if she wanted to go just sit down and take the judges course for $10 and like guess at answers until she got them right, she could, and then she could go and watch these videos and just downvote whoever, and anybody could, So
Train to Live, workout for women, 40 to 44. Top score had the athlete doing rebounding box jumps. Well, that is not the standard, and that should be downvoted. Again, I was just spot checking all over the place. I would, with no rhyme or reason. I'm sure there are some bad movements in there, but I in the past, we've seen like train wrecks full of videos that have been bad. This seems to like have cured some of that, where now you're just getting the fine details, right?
Yeah. I mean, I watched one yesterday that had 5 or 6 downvotes, and it was one of the guys in my age group. It was them doing Isabel, and no, I'm sorry, not Isabel. Scratch that. The clean muscle bar muscle up one.
Yep.
And I'm watching him go, and like everything looks fine. Every once in a while I'm counting where his reps are, making sure he's looking okay. The elbows are coming through and clean. I'm trying to figure out what is going on. And it dawned on me, I couldn't see the clock. And so I start looking, and his clock, I shit you not, is about this big. I finally found it, and it's on a magnet, and it's stuck to the rig.
Yep.
You can see it, right? But it's that big.
Yep.
And I'm finally, okay, that's probably what the deal is, that whoever looked at it, they couldn't see a clock, which obviously it has to be visible. And it's not even in bright colors. It's like light green and with white numbers or whatever as it's going. Like, it's hard to see.
Yeah. Hard
to see is not against the rules.
Did you know that James Newberry is part of the company that invented that?
I did not, but
a little magnetic time clock. Yeah. Just one of those just interesting fun facts.
I feel like James Newberry probably has a lot of interesting fun facts surrounding him. Most of those Australian boys.
He's one of the most interesting dudes ever. I interviewed him one time on this show, and dude, he's building a house out of shipping containers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's just one of those, like, yeah, exactly. Andrew says, the good thing is these reviews don't affect anything other than triggering a possible review by HQ. It is. Right. But here's the problem. If it's not done legit, it's not giving HQ the right information it needs to filter down to the right videos to watch.
Correct. Or it's taken away from videos that might actually need to
because these will be up until Friday. Yep. And then HQ says that the leaderboard will be finalized a week after that.
21st. Right? Yeah, 21st.
Maybe a little bit more than a week. That's not a lot of time to get through all those videos.
No, and there's a lot of people. It's like a whole lot of people.
Charlie Odie says his swim trunks are fantastic. That's James Newberry. and Cory Leonard, I hear.
And I got jammers. I'm going to swim tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact. Got to get back in the pool, Scott.
So you had goals this year with the semis. We have not talked online or on this podcast since you did semis. What was your improvement?
So last year I finished 157th. This year I was 85th.
Nice jump.
200.
You're older.
And I'm a year older. Yeah. So it's, I always feel like a weirdo talking about myself like this, but it's fun for me to see the progress, because it's not, progress is never linear. Yeah, linear. Yep. But the jumps that I'm making make show me that I'm on the right track. I'm on the right path. And I'm pretty pumped about that. I only got, so all of them ended up being one and done. I did,
And that was due to the judging requirements.
That was due to the judging requirements, and I mean regular family life stuff. Like, I was gonna have time for a redo on Sunday evening. I was gonna do the bar muscle up, clean one again, clean bar muscle up one again, and then my head judge, who's also my best friend, Bernard, texted me Sunday morning, because I'm assuming his wife reminded him that they had a wedding to attend on Sunday afternoon and they need to be going by 3:30. And I was not going to, because I did the handstand walk, pull up, burpee, toe to bar one Sunday morning, and I wasn't going to be recovered in time. Like, they do a proper redo by the time they had to leave. And so I was out of judging, period. I would have liked to have done one Thursday, two Friday, two Saturday, and then had Sunday for whatever redos. But family stuff, man, I brought my daughter to a daddy-daughter dance Friday night, because apparently Sorrento Primary doesn't care about CrossFit age group semifinals. Who knew?
Yeah. So what you're saying is CrossFit works.
It's weird, Charlie. You should try it.
So we haven't talked about this much, but last year, didn't you have like a full week?
Last year, almost. It was Thursday through Monday. We had a whole extra day.
And this year, they clamped that down.
Yeah.
And you had all these extra requirements.
Yeah. This year they added hoops. They shortened the time frame and added several hoops. Which, I mean, it is what it is, dude. Like, I want to compete, so I'm gonna do. Yeah, it's called .com, Charlie. It's free to everybody. Been like that since Jesus was a baby.
He'll do a 2-week free trial of anything that's out there.
Hey, but Imam Co's got a free trial, baby. Sign up. We have several different tracks to pick from, but I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna find a way, because I want to put myself to the test. I want to hold myself to the standard. So now, at the same time, it is very, very hard for me to ask my friends. I didn't ask anybody. Ask my friends to sacrifice their time and basically most of their weekend to come watch me suffer, because that's exactly what they did. And anyway, and they loved me enough to where they were happy to come and do it. But it was a bit much, if you ask me. I mean, it really was. I understand where they were coming from, but at the same time, I think I can feel both ways about it. Like, I understand where they're coming from. I just think it was a little bit much.
Denise said they made it so hard for some people to do the workouts. I was pretty lucky that I got the L1 in December. In more ways than one. This kind of popped into my head, right?
Yeah.
So, like, age groups, you guys all have jobs, right? You're working, you have families, you're doing all that stuff. I can see an extra judge for the elites. These people are, for the majority of them, this is their livelihood. This is what they're trying to make money at. To have them do that in the affiliate semis kind of makes sense. To extend that to the age groups where you have limited time, limited resources, maybe that's something that needs to change. Is for the age groups, you aren't the elites of the elites, until the Masters games becomes way more popular. Like, you're out where you're at, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have to show up for work every Monday morning.
Yeah.
Like Brett Owsley said in behind the scenes last year, I'm going to go, no matter if I win this weekend or not at the CrossFit Games, I have to go to work Monday, and my boss still wants all the emails answered.
Correct. Same.
And so for the age groups, this 2-judge thing is just ridiculous.
And here's the thing. So I get the idea of having a head judge if you have 5 athletes going. I was the only person that made semis at my gym. So what did I need? What did I need Bernard there for? Like my buddy Jeff is one of the few people I will let judge me because I know he will hold me to the standard. I know that he's going to be fair and he's going to call me out if I do something stupid, which he does all the time. But what was Bernard there for? Other than to be in my videos and act a fool, because that's what they did whenever they had to do the introductions things. Like for one of them, Bernard's sitting there curling with one of the dumbbells, and Jeff no reps him right before we introduced them. Like another one, they were doing push-ups because what else are they there for? Jeff has to be in the video because he is the floor judge. I understand that. Hey, this dude's here the entire time holding me to standard. But like literally, Bernard could have showed up. He help us because that's what we did. We all marked everything out that needed to be marked out with tape and all that good shit. And then after the video, when he introduced, he could have left because what difference does it make?
Yeah.
And if it was already like we used the same, so I marked off 5 feet from the rig and in a 15-foot section because I needed that for the handstand walk and for the lunge. And then the 5 feet I also used because the bar had to be 5 feet from the rig for the bar muscle up clean one. So I just used the same tick line all weekend, more or less. I needed one more for the row shoulder overhead. But like other than that, like that's already in there. Everything's measured, everything's taped down. So he's there for what exactly after that? I don't get it. And then when you go, this is another thing too. So you have to list when you go to put your score in, you have to put the YouTube link, where it was at. So when I put in CrossFit Virtus populates, right? Ooh, yep, select that. Normally for the open, if I put in Scott Schweitzer's name comes up and I can select him as my judge. Well, it ain't the case. Like I go put in Bernard, I got to type Bernard's name out, type Jeff's name with a comma, type Jeff's name out, and it doesn't populate that either one of them even took the judge's course or the advanced judge's course. So I'm just putting names in at that point. Yeah. That seems kind of off as compared to what we had to do for the open. So I don't know. I don't know what that was about because what are you going to do if somebody challenges it? Oh, well, here's the names. Now let me go run a cross check myself back instead of verifying it right whenever it gets on there. Thank you, Denise.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about how like Bernard was flexing to the camera and all that stuff. I don't know if I made so many friends with the behind the scenes last year and doing all the interviews prior to the games with the Masters athletes that I was out bouncing around on every leaderboard trying to see if all the people I met and became friends with made it back. Right. I think it was Kate McGee who had Travis Mayer as her head judge.
Yeah.
And he was a goofball in every single. She actually made a reel of the introductions and Travis coming in, introducing himself. One, he had his shirt pulled up and just his face showing out. They're hilarious.
Yeah. Because why not?
Yeah.
Like
but
if
it
you're gonna
also
make me
shows like one, I love it because this should be fun. Right. We're celebrating what you all can do at these more advanced ages of life, right? Like Denise getting her first bar muscle up, like that should be celebrated, right? And so we should be having fun. We should be doing goofy stuff on the videos, anything to make them more popular for people to come watch to see what you guys can pull off.
100%.
I just love it. But it also shows like that having all of these extra requirements for these age group athletes is dumb.
It's just overkill. I was talking, so me and my wife were talking about it the other night, and shout out to her as well because she was there for all of them except one. She went there Friday because they Brody had orientation at LSU. She got cussed out by me twice. Once Thursday night, right before Isabel started, and then once Saturday morning because got my back to the line, standing there. I'm like, all right, start the music. I started music, and it's just on random, but it's my playlist. And like one of my favorite workout songs immediately started. And I was like, I'm kind of grooving, I'm like, put my finger in there as a sign for Bernard to start the clock. So he's giving me a 10-second countdown. Turn around, grab the dumbbell, start lunging. I get one step from the turnaround, and the music changes. And yeah. And so, and look, dude, you know me, like I'm as laid back as they come. I came unhinged, Scott. I didn't stop, but I said, "Who the changed the music?" And Jennifer said, "Well, she made Brody do it. She made my son do it because she didn't like that song." And she said, "I didn't like that song." And I'm sitting there, and you can see it in the video. I'm lunging back. I said, "Are you serious right now?" Like, lost my mind. Thursday night, I was already nervous. I was doing Isabel. Like, yeah, I had just did a practice of it earlier during the week, which was fine. But like, it's getting time, right? And it's my first one. So like I'm wound up like an 8-day clock. And I warmed up to it. I did like 2 at 185, and I had to go use the restroom. I came back. I'm like, all right. And I went to go hit it again, and I missed. And everybody's talking. Like, these two are talking to each other, and I got people that's fixing to go do the 5:30 class, and they're sitting down watching me getting warmed up and trying to figure out what I'm fixing to do and like all this stuff. And it was just overload. And I just sat up and I said, I need everybody to shut up and go that way for a minute. Like, and then gathered myself, hit it another time for the warm up. It's like, all right, we can go ahead and start now. But she put up with my shenanigans all weekend long, and her and I were talking about it. I forget where I even started with that, but she was awesome all weekend. So just wanted to make sure that she is shown some appreciation.
Denise says, never have the Foo Fighters in your videos. I had so many copyright issues on YouTube with their songs.
I got, so 3 out of my 5 videos have copyright issues, like are not shown in whatever countries. I don't think it's any countries that matter at this point. And I will say this too, it doesn't really matter at this point anyway, because I'm in 85th spot. Ain't nobody gonna look at my videos to begin with.
Jay Birch says that's why you should do no music sometimes. I will tell you what, I had to judge the Rogue Invitational the year they went online because of the COVID. And they said that the athletes could play no music because of the copyright issues, and they were broadcasting live.
Right.
And judging an elite athlete, hearing him breathe on every single rep was wild.
Can't even imagine, dude.
Wild. Because usually they can't hear you, you can't hear them. You're making the big signals of no rep or whatever because they can't hear you. And wow. Wild.
It's not that I don't have, so I will work out with different music, like not necessarily stuff that's real, whatever. Like yesterday morning, I went and just did 35 minutes alternating between machines, and I had basically like bluesy rock, but slower type stuff going on. My entire thing with that is that I was grooving whenever my stuff came on. 10 seconds. Okay, yeah, let's go. I got this. And then all of a sudden it abruptly changes. Bro, I can't. Like, and I told one of my training partners, I said, if it had happened 3 minutes later, I wouldn't even notice because I would have been in it by that point. But like, it was literally, I didn't even make it 7:42.
Aaron asked what his heavy Isabel time is. I know it's lower than Denise's.
7:42. I am probably going to do that one again, maybe Sunday, as a matter of fact, because I'm pretty sure I can go faster, and I want to try it out.
I think Denise went 2 something.
Shut up.
Yeah.
What was her, Denise, what was your weight?
Denise never met a barbell she didn't like.
I love that. I love that. Oh my God.
240.
That's like my regular Isabel time.
Andrew Sten, just an FYI, registration is open for anyone who wants to volunteer at the age group games.
So basically, Denise could have done Heavy Isabel twice, and I still wouldn't have been finished.
Yeah. Yeah. And just remember, the age group games are here in Columbus. There may or may not be a barbecue that week at someone's house.
Just saying.
Just saying.
That's fantastic.
I got to reach out and see if I can do behind the scenes again this year.
Joe and them still putting it on?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I just got to text Joe.
I did about twice in 30 minutes because I called a no rep on myself the first time. Bro.
So her second attempt in 30 minutes was 240.
It was 240. I will say this. What I did learn, so every big comp I do, a very good friend of mine got me doing this after MFC, as a matter of fact, is I go back and write down takeaways from the weekend, right? From what I learned, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the biggest thing, one of the bigger things I should say, is that from a grand perspective, forward progress, like any progress is still progress, no matter how slow. And I made a big jump this year, like going from 157th to now 85th. That's kind of a big deal, right? So I'm on the right path. The other thing was, and this is way more specific to what we did, I put all the stuff that that was either going to be fairly short or I thought I was going to be good at first, and then took the stuff that I thought was going to suck and going to hurt and whatnot and saved that for last. Bad idea. By the time Sunday morning rolled around and it was time to do the handstand walk, pull up, burpee, but I was wasted. I was completely done. I didn't even want to, Scott. Like I had no urge whatsoever. And I told Brandon, talking about it Sunday afternoon, I said, as bad as I didn't want to do it, the pain of the 20 minutes that I was going to experience in that 20 minutes was going to be nothing compared to how bad it would have hurt if I just would have skipped it and not known where I actually would have ended up. So like that's a big takeaway for me. And then maybe next year we do the stuff that I'm not so great at, or the longer type stuff and whatnot, or stuff that might hurt a little bit more. Because the sprinty stuff, I can do that 4 times in a day if I need to. That's not a big deal. But the longer, more grindy stuff that I might not be so fantastic at, we might want to go ahead and put that first and get it out the way, and then do the fun stuff later.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably a blend of that makes the most sense. But I see what you're saying in like its simplest form.
Yeah, I thought I had a blend of that, but I ended up doing the row shoulder overhead Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday morning did the other 20-minute workout, and that probably wasn't a great idea. Although the row shoulder overhead, which I thought was going to be damage control 100% because I am not built to row, ended up being my best finish of the entire weekend.
Denise did Isabel first, then 3 rounds of 30s last because I was going to rip, and I did rip on that workout.
That's why I love my frog grips. I haven't ripped, dude.
Frog grips.
I have not ripped in 8 months at least. At least that long.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to cut this short.
No, dude, you gotta go get evaluated.
Yeah, I gotta go get my annual evaluation. See if I can make it another year further to retirement.
I think you got it in the bag.
So don't forget tonight at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Catching Feelings, Kat Shear's new show about dating, where she is going to talk about 6 first dates she went on. And she's going to share some of the text messages that happened before after and during those. The first show blew up, man. It was our biggest premiere show ever.
Dude, I'm telling you, I got to laughing about it because I saw, I don't know if it came up on like a short for the reels or something like that. Anyway, I just sit at the house that afternoon, and Jennifer said, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, "Oh." We watched it on TV at the house.
Yeah. Yep. Well, tonight at 5:00, gather the family. Well, maybe don't gather the family. And I think the permanent resting time for that is going to be Tuesday nights going forward. But I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's still fluid at this point. We're trying to figure it all out. But tonight at 5 p.m. Yeah, that's what it'll be. Scott, you're doing great, but actually I've been killing it lately. And I've been the go-to guy for the last few months. So I'm hoping this is just a quick and easy evaluation and get the hell out of there.
Pretty much.
We've been doing qualifiers in our classes the last 2 days, and I am so sore. Qualifiers suck, man. All right, guys. It's time for me to go get my evaluation. It's time for you knuckleheads to get back to work. We'll see everybody next time on Lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.